We often didn't have, so even some of the most basic things in school or in life, which led to, I was bullied a lot at school. Our clothes were often soiled. Sometimes the only meal we would get would be the one we'd get in school. And of course, turning to alcohol at a very young age. The other thing was that I realized that if I could work, that I could get myself out of my situation. So I would often work, and sometimes that money was taken from us kids, so which led to more bitterness at home. My mom she'd either be in the bars or she'd be at the church, so you never really knew what you were getting. My earliest memory was being sexually abused in a pickup truck in a field outside of Franklin, Pennsylvania. I was sexually abused again between my 6th and 7th grade year. Of course, when I was asked about it, I lied because I was ashamed, and I, didn't want to deal with that. Even at a young age, I didn't want to deal with it. But when it happened to me the second time, and I had spent the better part of 3 years being physically abused, it was when I was going into 7th grade that I decided that no man would ever put his hands on me again. And I think that that's where a lot of the anger came from. What ended up eventually landing me in court was my mom would, when we would have these, knockdown, drag out arguments or fights, and she would kick me out of the house and she would say, go. And I guess I was about 14 the first time that happened. And she would just kick me out. And I talked to this guy who had said he could get me a job working as a log skid operator for a logging company. And so I went to his house and literally spent a month at his house. And cop showed up and asked me my name. I said, yep, that's me. And they took me. And the judge asked me, you want to go to a group home or do you want to go to a foster home? And I said, well, if I go to the foster home, I can run away and, do this thing on my own again. So I said, I'll go to the foster home. So the judge said that I couldn't be controlled, and said, we're going to put you in an environment where you can get structure and you can get control. And of course, that sounded like a death sentence to me at the time. And that day I hated that judge. And I've learned to put that person, that judge, and maybe someday I'll actually look up who that judge was, but that judge saved my life that day. So the caseworker took me to Bethesda, and then from there to a steer farm, and the family was there. It took me about a week to figure out that that family was really looking for younger kids, strong enough to work the farm, but not old enough to really figure out that they were using the system for farm labor, cheap farm labor. The caseworker came and picked me up and took me to Gary and Carol Schrettengost, who ended up becoming my forever foster family. Gary and Carol were just what I needed. And that foster family really just started to not only show me love and care and what that looked like, and I always say, mastering the mundane, the day-to-day life, and teaching you life skills, the things that you're going to need as an adult, how to cope with other people, how to cope with family, how to cope with just the everyday stuff that a family does, and what is an appropriate reaction, appropriate actions and reactions to everything that comes with a family. So Gary and Carol were really the first time I'd experienced that in a very meaningful way. I think the deepest expression of love that I felt from them was when I turned 18, which I turned 18 in my birthday's in April, so the end of the school year was in June. They were planning a family vacation to go to Myrtle Beach in July, for the 4th of July. Well, in the beginning, I wasn't, because I didn't think I was going, because June, the foster care wasn't going to be paying for me anymore. So I was talking to my foster brother, and they were talking about going to Myrtle Beach. And I said, yeah, you guys are going to have a lot of fun at Myrtle Beach. And he said, what do you mean, you guys? He said, and I said, brother, I'm already 18. In June, the money's gone. Your parents aren't going to want me here. And apparently he'd gone to his family, because later that night, Gary and Carol brought me out to the kitchen table, just the two of us. And they said, why do you want to leave? And I said, I don't want to leave, but I know in June that the money runs out. He said, Jimmy, you're part of our family. He said, we don't have you here for the check. We have you here because we care about you. And we want to see you, we're going to see you taken care of. We love you. That's what family does. I felt love before, but that sacrificial love was so foreign to me. at that point in my life, that changed me forever.